How's it going, everyone? Scott McKay here, Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. What do we got today? Today we have a mini hood that was sent to me by SprayGunner. This is a silver metallic, fine metallic, not crazy, but it looks really nice in the sun. And what I'm going to show you today is how to prep it properly, which would be the way you prep any motorcycle gas tank, hood of a car, anything like that, because this is a painted surface. And then how to do a tape out layout design. For this case, we're going to do like a lowrider style, hot rod graphic panel, it's something in that realm. And then we're going to do different airbrush effects inside, different patterns, and that'll be on my live feed. Then I'll edit that down to a how-to video as well. So to get started, let's talk about the hood. This is a steel hood, like I said, painted like any other steel hood, which is cool because if you're going to be holding stencils or artwork, you can just use any magnets, which is great. So what you're going to need to prep. You want adhesion. This is a cured hood. So two things you can use. You can use a Scotch-Brite pad. I would say either red or gray. Red's going to give you a heavier tooth, especially on something that's really hard cured. Or sandpaper. I prefer to do both. I usually go over my surfaces with 600 grit wet sand. You can do 800 if you think the clear is pretty thin. I never go over 800 because I worry about adhesion past 800 as far as when you're doing heavy graphics and artwork. This is more than just a collision blend or something like that. So I always use 600. I use 600 wet, and then I go over all like the nooks and crannies with a Scotch-Brite pad or a scuff pad. The difference between a sandpaper and a scuff pad is if you have orange peel little textures, the scuff pad's not going to take it out. It'll open it up for tooth because it scuffs. Sandpaper actually takes material off. So the lower the grit, the coarser the grit, the more it's going to take off. So I start with 600 and then I go from there. So before we get into that, let's talk about what you're going to need for the project overall. For a project overall, we're going to do like I said, lowrider style tape out graphic. So you're going to need some fine line tape. In this case, I use FBS. I typically use on a car or a motorcycle hood, 1/8 inch. That's my preferred size to use. But you can also use 16th. Depending on the design, I'll use both a lot of times. On a mini hood like that, I'm probably going to stick with 16th the whole time. But no, you could do either or. Because we're duplicating left to right, I'm going to show you an old school trick. And all you need is a couple things. Any masking paper, anything works. This cheap old masking paper, a regular printer paper, anything works. Some charcoal powder or carpenter's chalk or something like that. Even regular chalk works good. And a crayon, soft pencil, something like that. This will all make sense later, but this is how we're going to lay out one side, then mirror it to the other. And then the magic tool, whoops, and then the magic tool, a pounce wheel. A pounce wheel is a little, basically, cowboy boot spur. If you look here, let me see if I can zoom in on this guy. It's a little spur that's going to make perforations in the paper. So I'll show you how to make a pattern. This is old school pattern making. Goes back centuries. You can get these. You can get these from SprayGunner. You can get these anywhere. These have been around for a long time. They come in different sizes and different widths. I like this one here. I forget the number of teeth this is. Like I said, they have different sizes you can use depending on the pattern you want to make. We'll cover this a little bit more in the next part. All right, let's set all that aside. Like I said, that's all you're going to need is charcoal or pounce powder, your preferred fine line tape. I prefer FBS, especially for tight turns and curves. And it's true 16th. I'm going to use the blue. They make blue, green, orange, red, and then a paper crepe tape. And what each one of those, that's a different rigidity scale. So the blue is a nice intermediate, bends really, really easy, and the red is super stretchy, and then the orange and green are a little stiffer for more straights. Instead we use chalk or crayon, pounce, and masking paper. So that's where you're going to need to do the job. So we will get started in just a sec. So before we do that, we're going to talk about prep. I'm going to get this thing all ready. So we're going to take is our hood and our sandpaper, which this is 600 grit by 3M. I always let it soak for at least 5 minutes before I use it. Like I said, Sandpaper takes material off, and scuff pads just scuff. So this is really smooth. So I don't really need to take any orange peel out. I'm keeping my finger sideways like this. I would typically use a soft block. I recommend using a soft block. I don't have one here with me in the studio. So I'm just using my fingers. And if you have to use your fingers, make sure to keep it like this, perpendicular, not parallel to your stroke. Because if you do this, you're going to wear grooves. Or you could use a DA. You can use anything to get it prepped. What you want is a good scuff. If you want to go in circles, you can go in circles. I prefer to kind of go straight one way and straight the other. Now we're going to get into here. And this is why I use a scuff pad too, because I try not to go too heavy on these edges with the sandpaper, because I don't want to remove material, especially if I'm not the one that cleared it, because I don't know how much is there. I'd rather be safe than sorry. We'll just hit these light and go here. Just give it a good go. I usually use, if I was using a soft pad here, sanding pad, I would squeegee it with that. We'll take the material off, clean it, make sure we're good. And so if you notice, and I kind of did this on purpose, when it dries out, let me see if we can get a good video of it here. When it dries out, you'll notice you're dull, you know, but you get to the edges, you're kind of shiny, okay? So I would keep sanding it. Or if you're worried about being on the edge, this is where you can just kind of go over the whole thing with a nice scuff pad. Get into these nooks and crannies right here. That's what these are really good for. Like I said, these scuff pads aren't going to remove material, and they're just going to scuff it. Get those edges. That's the worst thing. You don't want to ever get paint peeling from edges. You want to make sure you get your edges. A lot of guys miss that. They get the surface, they don't get the edge. You get a D-lam here, and that D-lam starts to get to the whole job, and you don't want that. So get all these edges here. You'll see a little shiny. See those edges? You want to get those done. So get that all done. And then a little wax and grease remover. I'm going to use a Spray Away Foamy Glass Cleaner. This has no ammonia in it. It's a good cleaner. But any type of nice wax and grease remover will do. Get it cleaned off, ready to do your tape out. So next part, we'll get into the tape out, we'll clean this bench up, and we'll get ready to go. Ready to go. Time to start designing. So all you need to design is fine line tape and some imagination. So because we're going to mirror the design, what we're going to do first is find the center. And the nice thing about working on this bench is I can center it on the lines and just use it as a dividing line. But how you normally do it is you measure your center. You know, measure where your center line is going to be. Take your fine line. I'm going to use a 16th inch. I'm going to use a 16th inch tape. Like I said, normally on a car I'd be using 1/8 inch, like this. But for a small hood like this, I'm going to use a 16th. So with this tape, it's really elasticy, and you want to make it taut. So see how it just goes from loose to taut? That's what you're looking for. You just want to take some of the tape out, stretch it out, pin one side down like this, just get it pinned, and now you can move with your hand like this, and you can switch hands if you need to. You know, move back and forth and go like that. So we're just going to do a center. I'm just going to pull straight. I'm going to keep it, see how it goes from slack to taut? You get that little bounce, that's what you want. And you want to make sure the ends stays down better. Do that again. We'll give it a little more. Get it on. Start it. I'm going to tack it on the hood. Now I can move it left and right. You're going to just pull it taut. Make sure it's tight. But you don't want to stretch it. You just want it taut. And then you're going to pull. You're going to angle it down. Keep it tight. Push it down like that. And then I'm just going to use my thumb and just pull it. Same thing here. Pull it. Like I said, that's just the center. All right, working on the layout. So the nice thing about Fineline tape can just about do anything. You've already seen to do straight, so we want it straight. We just go like that, leave a little bit out for ourselves. I'm going to switch camera angles here so you can see a little better. And what you're looking for here, see how my hand's holding it? It's basically just holding it like this, kind of loose, and just pulling it tight. Just a little tension, you're not stretching it. And by doing that, you can go straight, and you can just guide it straight. Or, right where your thumb is, this is your pivot point. You want to, you can use this hand as your hinge, and you want to just guide it. It's like drawing a line. And you can keep going back and forth. And you see how easy this stuff bends. And you just practice laying it out. And you can actually go right back and do it again. And look, I can just slight turn. I can slight turn this way and come straight. You can really just mess around with these a lot. You do different designs and just mess around just to get a feel for the tape and how it moves. You've seen us do flames. And Fineline tape is what we do flames with. And this takes a little bit of practice. You're just making flame licks and shapes. But you see how nice and flexible this tape is. It makes a nice tight seal. Doesn't let paint bleed. Snaps off nice and easy. And this is how you lay flames. We're not doing a flame on this, but I just want to give you a quick kind of show how easy this FBS tape moves and how repositionable. If I don't like that, I can come out like this, pull it back out, and you can reposition this. Whoops, I pulled that too tight. Let's go back again. Easy fix. See that? You can just keep reworking it. A few times. If you work it too many times and get some oils from your hands all over it, it will stop sticking eventually. But you can see just simple flame layouts are easy. Flames, direction, things like that. But we're going to keep it a little simpler. We're not going to go this route. Save that for a different video. Now, because I just did this a bunch, and I got some hand oils on there, before I do my layout, I want to give it a good clean with a wax and grease remover, or in this case, I'm just using spray away glass cleaner. Alright, so for the layout, I'm going to do something like these images here. You know, these are a couple I did for SEMA. Then we had some other classes that we did at the Rendezvous, me and Rhino, and just some other jobs here and there. These are kind of, you know, lowrider-esque. They're different tape outs. I have another long video on how to do a motorcycle layout that you should check out. You can check out the link here. So let's get ready to do some design work. Okay, so let's talk about a design and layout. So we're going to do something like those designs. We're going to mirror it left and right. So we're going to start on one side, design it, then we'll flip it to the other side, and I'll show you that trick. So I'm deciding if I want to have like a center open panel, and I'm going to airbrush some skulls in there using my pack of skulls, because I think it could look really cool. Or I'm going to split it and do like the same type of panel, but kind of have a hot rod racing stripe split down the middle, and then different designs that just frame with the shape. We're going to keep it really simple, really clean. So the nice thing is we can kind of design as we go. I'm going to do the center. I'm going to follow this arc here. I'm just going to tip it right there. Just tack it in place. And I'm going to just keep it taut. And I'm going to guide it down like this. I'm going to stop about there. I think I'm going to come down a little more. And I'm going to do a radius and then kind of like a 30-degree angle going this way. Kind of mimicking this, but a little pointier. And I'm just going to go straight like that. Okay, and I'm going to pull just past the line. I'm going to put my thumb down and just pull it. So that can be mirrored like a big opening, or I could do this here to here and pull it, and we could split that left and right. This center line is going to come out at the end. But before we get into that, let me show you what you do. If you're happy with it, you're going to leave it. Let me show you how to snap this off and make this a clean cut. This is a real important part about doing tape outs. But before I do that, if you look, there's a little ripple there. I'm going to come back out right here. Just keeping tension as I go through the turn, keeping it straight, and then going back. Maybe a little more radius than that. Here we go. I like that. That's what I mean. You can just play with a design like that. Okay, so what you can do is take a straight edge blade or X-Acto knife or whatever you have. Typically, I like a straight edge blade. X-Acto knives work really well too. So what you want to do, and your crossovers, really simple. I'm going to keep this about a 1/4 inch away from the center line, so I end up with a 1/2 inch gap. I'm just going to pull it tight and guide it down, but not overstretch it. I keep saying that, don't overstretch it. What you want to do, the line you just did on top, what you just on top, you're going to use that as your edge to guide. You're just going to cut that tape right there, and then you're going to put your blade across like this, but you're not going to cut. You're just going to put it halfway between the tape, going this way and that, and you're going to pull your tape up into it. And now you're going to get a really nice, clean cut right there. See how nice and clean that is? And by doing that, you only cut once towards the surface in very light pressure so you don't leave any marks. So then what we're going to do is we're going to figure out a design schematic that follows this shape, and then we'll duplicate it this side, then we'll do some patterns in here, and then we'll show you how to mirror it. All right? But that's kind of how we're going to start out, I think. Sometimes what I do on jobs is I'll lay one side out, see if I like it, and then I'll do the other side totally different and see which side I like better. And then what I'll do is I'll decide which one to duplicate, and I'll remove one side and duplicate the other. It's just an option if you want to work on the fly without pre-sketching. No plotter, no computer, no nothing. Just your imagination and tape is all you need. Start working it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this line, maybe. I'm going to follow right along the edge, so I'm just going to tack it down like this. I'm going to come down and just follow it like that. Okay. I'm a little off, so I can reposition. Just follow the edge until you like what you're doing. There we go. That works well. So now you're starting to look at the negative space. Okay, so we're going to keep this kind of simple. I'm going to do another. You know, I'm going to go here like this. I'm going to come down and see if I like that. It's kind of boring, but maybe I'll radius this like this more. Nah, I don't like that either. Let's try this. You just kind of create on the fly. And the more you do this, the better you get at it. So I'm going to go like this. And then here, I'm going to come down like that. Follow it, and then maybe I'm going to go down like this. Nah, I don't like that either. Let's go over here. We'll come back to this. Like I said, we're going to keep it simple. I just want to follow these lines. So I'm going to go here like this. And come down. And this is more like a panel design. So you hear people call it like a lowrider-style or panel art, something like that. This is the panel. So all I'm going to do is come down here. I'm going to follow it along. And if you have trouble gauging that, if you want to keep it exact, what you can do is you could take, if you wanted a 1/4 inch away, we could do a double tape. which is you take your tape right to the very edge that you want and use that as a gauge. So watch, we can use this as a gauge. So I know that's the distance, say I want to stay away for most of the way. Now I can take the 16th and go here and right next to it and just follow that edge. And you just kind of let the material peek through. And right about here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come out so it goes a little thick to thin. And then I'm going to pull this out. Now I know that's a nice 1/4 inch away. So I wouldn't even have to really duplicate that with the pattern we're going to do later. It's the same thing. The one on top, follow that. So that's this one this time. And then pull the tape right up into your blade. All right, so now you see we have this kind of pattern going on. So this is its own field, this is its own field, this is its own field, this is its own field. I need something in here. And like I said, maybe we'll just keep it simple. You don't have to get crazy complicated. Let's go this way, like this. Again, we're going to go a little over 1/4 right to here. Instead of going straight, we go here. And maybe what we'll do, oh, I know what we're going to do. Okay. I had to do a little readjust off camera because I pulled some tape, pulled it with me. That has nothing to do with normal layout. That's just having to do with trying to do this on video. Okay. So, in that thought process, I want to come down like this, I think. And maybe go here. And maybe like radius it in like that. But see, I don't like this gap here. Okay, so let's go back to this side. Let's go here like this. I got a little piece of dust in that tape. Pull that out. Oh, actually, let's do this. I can go here like this. And I can just hop right into that. And I can cut here. Okay, now that's a shape, that's a shape. I'm going to follow the same angle, but watch. I'm going to do that distance. I'm going to match it here. I'm going to come here like this. I'm going to go like that. And this one is going to mirror to this side. So for temporary, I'm just going to cut that right there. I'm going to pull this tape up into the blade here. Notice I'm not cutting and making cuts in my board. So now I have a nice layout. And, you know, this could be part of this. And then maybe, let's see how this looks. I'm going to go this way like this. And down. Yeah, I don't really like that. Let me try this. Just keeping it simple. Nothing crazy. There we go. That could be nice. Very simple, very clean. And then we could do one more, like right here, like this kind of a fan. Let's see if we come in here like that. I think it's too much, too busy. Too busy. Keep it simple because you can always add it as you go. And maybe this is too much. See how you just kind of go through the design? Go this way. Keep that simple. Maybe we can go inside here like this. Like I said, you could really go endless. Let's just keep it simple like that and see how it looks. And then we'll mirror it to the other side. And then this will be a cool point. Yeah, I think that'll be a good way just to introduce you to tape and keeping it simple. And just think of everything as panels. Like, this is going to be an area to paint in. This will be an area to paint and mirrored. This will be a simple stripe. This will be a shape out here, and this will be a shape. So you have a lot of panels going on. So you don't need to go too crazy. Like, I could take this middle tape out and it'd still be a really cool design, but I think we're going to leave it right there like that. Let's get on to the part where we mirror this and see how we like it. So now comes for the fun part. This is your design. This is your layout. Now we're going to mirror it. Okay, like I said, if you want, you could do a separate design on this side. If you like that better, then you can remove this and duplicate it the other way. This is really simple. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. All you need is a piece of paper, transfer paper, masking paper, printer paper, newsprint paper, whatever you got. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. A couple pieces of tape, a crayon or soft pencil, all works. So what I like to do, put it right on so you can see the tape. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. Put it down, tape it, right like that, right against the tape. The reason why I do that is I like to put a mark on the paper and the tape itself. And I kind of bear down hard enough so we can see it on the other side, okay? Trust me, it'll make sense. Then all you gotta do, if you ever did tree, stone, gravestone rubbings, anything like that, this is gonna make total sense. Take your crayon, soft pencil, anything, and you just give it a rub down. And what you're going to see is going to pick up your design and the edges of your panel. Okay, just like that. Go here, same thing. And I like to try to hit all the edge as possible. And that's going to help me mirror it. So there's your design, okay? So now if you've never done this, you're probably asking, well, what does that do? How are you going to get to the other side? Real simple. We're going to turn this into a pattern. So I'm just going to cut off my excess here. Okay, like that. Remember, I got a mark here and a mark there. But I also have my edges, so I can go by those as well. I'm going to take this off. Actually, because I put the tape there, I'm just going to mark it a little better. There we go. Now we can take this off. We're going to move our hood aside. And this is where the pounce wheel comes in. I'm going to tape this down just for the sake of the video to make it easier. Normally you wouldn't have to, but I don't want to keep moving it out of frame. All right, this is where this handy dandy little tool comes into play. This is going to put little perforation and little holes in this design. So what I like to do is go to one side and make the holes one side of the tape or the other, and kind of keep that consistent if you can. Because what you're going to do is you're going to follow these dots, you're going to leave. When we use the powder, it's going to put the pattern to the other side. And we want to run that tape right alongside it. I usually put down a piece of cardboard or something like that. Or these soft mats work pretty good. Something you can push down. That way these teeth actually go through the paper. And you can loosen this up so it spins. Okay? Or you can keep it rigid so you have to guide it yourself. It's all preference. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to pick one side of the line. You're going to push it through the paper, and you're just going to drag. And as you turn, you're just going to turn like that, and you go like that. I'm going to do the same thing here. Now this, you probably didn't need to do this one, because we know it's a 1/4 inch away, but that's fine. I just do the whole thing, and just roll it down. And just take your time with it. Same thing in here. I'm going to go inside and do my whole design. And this is the same design I've done for hundreds and hundreds of jobs, and it never fails. What you can do, because I know where the edge of the hood is, I can kind of cut the pattern a little bit more just so I can line it up on the hood and tape it. Okay, so I want to know, I can see where my marks were. One there, and one here, okay? So now what we're gonna do is you're gonna bring your hood over, take some tape. Now, we're just gonna tape it down. So that's this one. And this right there. Just to make it easy for everyone, let's do this. Okay. All right, tape it down. So now you can see, you can already see these line up, and it lines up. Because I put my line on the inside, the tape is going to go on the outside of the edge. So this is where we take what's called a pounce pad. Okay, I'm going to pull one of those up here in a second. There's many different types. This is a pounce pad with blue carpenter's chalk, but this is not really going to show up too well on that. So I have another one I'm going to pull out that's loaded with just graphite powder, okay, or charcoal. That works just as well. There's pounce powder, there's all sorts of stuff you can use. So I'm going to pull that up here and I'm going to show you how this works. So like I said, this is a normal, older pounce pad. This has just blue carpenter's chalk in it. Really old and worn out. This is a newer one I got. I forget where I got it, but these are available through almost any place that sells custom paint supplies, things like that. They just call it pounce pad. You can make them too out of cloth. This just has charcoal in it, okay? You just try to get the excess off. And what you do is you just kind of pat it down and you want to push it through. Okay? Pretty simple. You don't like have to slam it. You just need to get some powder on there and work it through those holes. Okay? That's all you got to do. I've done dragsters like this. I've done semi-trucks. I've done cars, hot rods, motorcycles, everything using this technique. And it never fails. And what you see, actually before you move it off the hinge, you can just kind of peel these off and make sure you got a good transfer. Okay, roll it back. There you go. Voila. Okay, there's a lot of extra powder there. And you don't want to tape to that. You want to blow off all the excess. But you'll notice you get a really nice, transfer. Come in a little closer. But you definitely don't want to tape to that mess. You can just blow it off like that. I usually take an airbrush and I get as much off as I can, just enough so I can still see everything. So you just kind of get close to it. You blow off all the excess. Remember, you're not taping on top of it. You're taping to the left and right of it. But I want to get as much off as I can, especially using 16th inch. 16th inch doesn't have a lot of surface area. So you don't want to have really a lot of dust and powder on there. Okay? Alright, so now you're just going to follow along. You got your guides. Remember, I kind of want to see the dots because I'm supposed to be on the inside of it. And notice how that's a little off. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of it. I'm supposed to be inside on that line. See? There we go. That makes sense now. That's right. Cool. Just going to take my knife. Get rid of that. Now I'm going to come to, I was on the inside of that, so I need to go to the outside of this. I'm going to come down. Follow it right around here. Putting pressure on the curve. Following along. Now doing the same thing. I'm just going to cut right there. Oop. Put my blade down. Come right up to it. I'm going to pull that off. Nice and clean. I'm going to pull this center line out now. And I'm going to meet that line right where it needs to be. But I'm going to do this one first. Nice and simple. Coming from here. The crossover. And I'm not really, I'm kind of not digging. I'm not digging that. Kind of like it. And that's the nice thing about tape. You go like this, I can take this off, keep it simple. And I think I need just radius that corner a little more. Let's see if I adjust it. Cool. I want to do something different in here. I'm going to figure that out after I tape everything. Now I'm on this side of the line. Following everything. Really simple. You have to do something, like I noticed it's a little off. I'm going to come outside so it looks right. You can't assume that a manufacturer, even a crazy high-end or engineered car, that the left and rights are exactly mirrored. They are sometimes off by a 1/4 inch. And sometimes that's by design. Like Harley tanks, the left side and right side are different. They don't have the same mirror. So you have to make things look straight. So I might just make this like this. I don't know if I like any of that. No, I don't like the arrow. I'm gonna have to come up with something. Or I might just leave it and just keep it simple. Or maybe by the feed tomorrow night, I will join this and get rid of the center line. I'm going to mess with the design some more, but that is the basics. That is how you take a simple design, tape it out, and then mirror flip it. So come on, check out the live feed where we actually paint this. We'll see if we make any changes, but that is a quick walkthrough on how you lay out a simple lowrider style or graphic style, like racing stripes or something like that on a hood. Maybe going down like this. And just making it a little bit busier. Yeah. I can probably do this side just by doing this. Yeah. Now I know where to start. And I can just kind of eyeball it from here, come down. You can lose yourself for hours in refining a tape out. And there's no wrong answer. It's just getting to the point where you're happy and you like the flow and the design. So, there's a few ways to set this up. You can just take tape and say you want to do section by section. You could just go like this and like backmask and spray. You could tape off just a section, freehand spray all this, and just paint artwork in here. or you can sheet transfer tape over the whole thing, which is the approach I'm going to do, and I'm going to cut out the sections and we're going to peel as we go. So you can get transfer tape in all sizes, up to, I think, 54 inch or at least 48 inches, 3 inch, 6 inch. You can order it from online. I usually go to a local sign supplier and get it. I like the Conform by Art Tape, but you can use anything. I'm just going to take a nice wide piece, do this in one shot. There you go. These little wrinkles you don't have to worry about because they're not going to show up, because this is not staying behind. Just transfer tape. And that is perfect. I'll cut the excess off, wrap it around, and now come watch the painting process on the next video. Because now we can just cut with our blade, section by section, right here and here. So let's say we're going to do that. I take a nice fresh blade. Actually, I'm going to save that for the video. I'm going to save that for the video. Stay tuned. Come for the rest of it. Learn the whole process. Hope you like this part. Watch more videos. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you. Thank you to SprayGunner for sending this. It's going to be a fun project.